Hello, my friends. Well, I'd like to talk about a travesty today, at least in my eyes, which is the fact that Washington State, where I live, the governor, Jay Inslee, decided about a week ago to ban all flavored vape juices, cannabis and tobacco related. Now, I've talked about this in a previous video. I'm quite frustrated because when Trump had talked about it, I expected him to be ignorant of the situation. Of course, he's just trying to save face and look good and do what presidents do. But I figured that the state governors would at least have enough sense to do their own research before they went and made rash decisions. Now, Jay Inslee in my state, he decided he was going to have an emergency meeting, which is scheduled for tomorrow, October 9th. And at that meeting, they're expected to ban all flavored vape juices for 120 days so they could overlook and see what's going on. Now, let me say, first off, what's going on is complete bullshit, because they don't seem to have an actual purpose as to why they're doing this. They first off say, well, there have been vape-related illnesses and deaths, and we've had a few, I think 2 illnesses in Seattle, but no deaths as far as I know. I think there's been something like 12 nationwide. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of people die every year from cigarettes. But a few vape deaths, and all of a sudden it's this huge issue. Well, we have already investigated, and 80% of the people who claim that they have, of the people who have got illnesses and went to the hospital with lung problems, 80% admitted to using a THC cartridge within the last month or so. A black market, usually, a THC cartridge. And so further research showed that these certain thickening agents, such as vitamin E acetate, I believe, can coat the lungs and cause problems with breathing. So let's set that aside for a minute. We know that it was from cannabis cartridges. If 80% of the people say it was from cannabis, and the other 20% say they didn't smoke any cannabis cartridges, all I can say is perhaps their illness is related to something else, or it could be very cheap vape juice that was made improperly. But I'm more likely to believe that at least a large percentage of them did smoke cannabis, but don't want to admit it because they're afraid of getting in trouble. If you live in an illegal state where the only thing you can buy are black market cartridges, and you go to the hospital with an illness, and you admit to using cannabis, you can get yourself in trouble. So people are afraid. And so I'm guessing that it would be probably closer to 100%, but that's just my speculation. At any rate, flavored vape juices have been on the market for a long time and haven't been an issue. And so the other side of this, which makes it interesting, is that they say, well, the kids, 70% of the kids who start vaping say that they did it because of the flavored juice. Of course, kids drink flavored alcohol as well. I was a kid. I know, we all were. And does it mean that they're going to stop drinking alcohol when there's no more flavored drinks? No, of course not. Does it mean that they're going to stop smoking when there's no more flavored tobaccos? No, of course not. What this is really doing is harming those who have quit smoking and found something that works. My personal story, I started smoking when I was about 15 years old. In my high school, when I was a freshman, we still had a smoking lounge. And the seniors were always out there smoking, and we would intersperse and smoke with them. Hey, we wanted to be cool too. And the tobacco companies had pushed that for years. And I smoked for over 20 years, I think about 25 years before I finally quit. And I found vaping. I had quit several times in that span. Quit for 2 years once, 2 years another time, a year and a half one time. I tried chewing, I tried the gum, I tried patches. I found vaping, and I haven't smoked in over 4 years now. And it was a godsend. The thing is, when I go to the vape shop, it's not a bunch of kids in there. They're adults. And the most messed up thing here is that most of the vape shops make 80 to 90% of their profits from their flavored juices. This is because most adults prefer to vape something that tastes fruity rather than something that tastes like tobacco. And the only flavoring they're allowing to stay on the market are tobacco flavor, which that's what the smokers are trying to get away from, myself included. Now, I went down to my local vape shop the other day. I had to buy, I could only afford so many. I didn't want to stock up too much. Just bought I think 10 bottles. It wasn't cheap, but they had it on sale for 40% off. And most of the vape shops in the area are doing that right now. And people are buying them up quick. And then my thought was this, that I can go to Oregon and just grab them there. And then 2 days ago, Kate Brown, the Oregon governor, announced that they are doing an emergency ban there too. And so that kind of threw a crimp in my whole plan. And so I figured I needed to make this video to at least inform people who may vape in the area in Oregon or Washington, or maybe just to complain. I don't use Twitter, I don't use Facebook, I don't have a place to go and post all my frustrations. So the fact that this nanny state is telling us what we can and can't consume, I think is absurd. And I think that they should really rethink their approach to this. Not only, the vape shop down the street from here said that they're staying open, but they're one of the only ones in the area. They said 80 to 90% not only of the sales are from flavored juice, but 80 to 90% of the stores themselves are going to have to shut down. And many of them just opened up. And a lot of these people opened up the shop because they had found vaping so useful in their lives. Of course, a lot of people just want to make money too, and that's what business does. But you want to know what's really messed up? It was Juul. The people who called it juuling and the people who smoked Juuls in school and made it look bad, they had a huge share of the market. And Juul has put millions into advertising. And if you didn't know, I believe a third of Juul is owned by Philip Morris. And so we're talking about basically the new Marlboro. And so if they have to remove flavoring from Juul, they don't really care. They'll still make a lot of money. What they're going to do is they're going to shut down all other flavorings, and then they're going to force companies to jump through hoops and go through all this extraordinary testing to be able to sell their product. Just like they did with cannabis, just like they've done with alcohol, which is why the average person can't just brew something up or grow their own tobacco and then sell it on the market. I understand that laws need to be made for these things. But vaping is an exception. It's helped a lot of people, and this is something where I can speak from personal experience. And so I'm calling shame on those who are just blanket banning it to save face and make their political careers look promising because they don't want to look bad if they don't act quick enough. Sometimes acting in haste is worse than not acting at all. And in this case, I believe that to be true. So thanks for listening. Let me know what you think and leave a comment below, and talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day.